Friends, in this video, I am going to discuss critical pedagogy, which is important at all levels of education. Pedagogy of the Oppressed is a book by Brazilian educator Paulo Freire, written in Portuguese between 1967 and 1968, but published first in Spanish in 1968. An English translation was published in 1970. This book is considered one of the fundamental and foundational texts of critical pedagogy and proposes a pedagogy with a new relationship between the teacher, student, and society. This book is translated into many Indian languages, including Telugu. Pedala Chaduvu is the name of the Telugu version. You see, this is the cover page of Spanish edition of the book Pedagogy of Oppressed, published in 1968. In Spanish, it is pronounced as Pedagogia del Oprimido by Paulo Freire. This is the photograph of Paulo Freire, who is the author of the Pedagogy of the Oppressed. Pedagogy of Oppressed emphasizes dialogue, critical thinking, and active participation from both the teachers and the students. This approach aims to empower the students to become critical agents of change, questioning the oppressive structures and working towards a more democratic and just society. Pedagogy of the Oppressed attempts to help students question and challenge domination and also the beliefs and practices that dominate. Freire proposed a dialogical approach in which students become active agents in their own education. When education is used as a form of self-development rather than a memory test, students realize that knowledge is power. Paulo Freire is widely recognized as the founder of critical pedagogy. Critical pedagogy is a philosophy of education. It insists that issues of social justice and democracy are not distinct from the acts of teaching and learning. The goal of critical pedagogy is emancipation from oppression through an awakening of the critical consciousness. Please note this point, sir. Through an awakening of the critical consciousness. When achieved, critical consciousness encourages individuals to effect change in their world through social critique and political action in order to achieve self-actualization. See, these are the components of critical pedagogy, 5 components of critical pedagogy. Critical pedagogy must involve critical thinking among the students. Critical pedagogy must enable the students to work for social justice. Critical pedagogy includes cultural relevance, dealing with the different cultures of the students in the classroom and outside the classroom. Then critical pedagogy also includes participatory action research by the teacher and students together, which pedagogy is appropriate to deal with a particular subject. And critical pedagogy, above all, leads to transformative learning, must lead to transformative learning among the students. Let us see what this transformative learning is. Transformative learning occurs when an individual experiences a significant structural shift in the way he or she perceives and understands the world around him or her. It's a learning process that is conducive to change in the individual's perspective and a re-evaluation of his or her beliefs values, attitudes, and assumptions. A few strategies in implementation of critical pedagogy based on my experience in teaching, especially at higher education. It is very important that as teachers, we must have empathetic relationship with students. When we have empathetic relationship, students are well connected to us, well connected to the subjects we teach. It's very important, sir. We should always use the strategies of motivation and encouragement to see that the students are intrinsically motivated towards learning, self-motivated towards learning. My dear friends, it is very important to have inclusion of the oppressed and differently abled students with others in group tasks. That means we should provide inclusive learning environment. That's what I have always done. Then it is very important that we should always use the strategies to improve the self-efficacy of the students, especially the students come from marginalized communities, students who are oppressed by the society. While dealing with those students, we should use the strategies to improve their self-efficacy. It has been my experience throughout my teaching career. The students who are underperformers in the first semester, by the time they graduate, they performed excellently well because of my interaction with them. Their self-efficacy has improved a lot and they could do very well. And even today, they are very well connected with me. And dealing with multicultural classrooms. Cultural diversity is very important, sir, inside the classroom and outside the classroom. And nurturing questions by the students. We should always nurture the students to ask questions, always challenging the teachers. I used to make the statement always, either you challenge me or I challenge you. Only then we can have deep insight into the subject knowledge. Then we should also nurture discussion on contemporary social issues wherever possible, even outside the classroom also. Right? We should have debates among the students on contemporary social issues in order to enable them to have social consciousness. Then we should always try to take them from known to unknown, always to unknown, always problem oriented, case study oriented, right? In order to develop critical thinking and problem solving skills. That is very important. They should be very critical of the teacher, very critical of whatever has been written in the textbooks. That is very important, sir. They should question everything. They should question the authority. Right? That is very important, sir, in critical pedagogy. Then I used to do participatory action research along with my students in order to find out the appropriate pedagogy in teaching a particular subject, in teaching a particular course that yielded excellent results because that pedagogy is suitable to that group of students related to that particular subject. Very important, sir. You see, to use pedagogy is a dynamic process. It is not that we have a pre-planned pedagogy and then implement in the classroom. It is not teacher-centered. It should be student-centered, right? That is possible only through participatory action research. And we should provide a conducive environment for transformative learning among the students. And continuously, there should be an activity of guidance, counseling, and mentoring of the students in order to improve their self-efficacy, in order to enable them to realize their full potential. Guidance, counseling, and mentoring of students plays a vital role. That has been my experience, sir. Conclusion. Pedagogy of the oppressed and critical pedagogy play a vital role in transformation of the whole learning environment. Teachers and students are the active partners, active participants in the learning process in critical pedagogy. Teachers at all levels of education must be totally reoriented. They have to reorient themselves on a continuous basis in order to implement critical pedagogy. True education, which implements critical pedagogy, might lead to holistic individuals and a more humane, equitable, and just society. Thank you very much, sir.